Okay, so we are going to get started on 1.6 notes, but we have kind of like a prequel to it, something that we have to do before we can start our notes, and it's called the golden rule, okay? The golden rule of inequalities. Now, we all know what the golden rule is, right, in life? What is it? Yes, treat others the way you want to be treated. Well, in math class, we have that golden rule, of course, because we want to be respectful to everybody else. But we also have another golden rule, and it is only relevant to inequalities. What makes something an inequality? What is an inequality?
It's the one that's like the greater.
Yes, the greater than, less than. They're alligators. Okay, do y'all remember maybe learning them as alligators or Pac-Man? Okay. So, they are your greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to signs. They are not equations, because an equation has a equal sign. They are inequalities, because they now have like a symbol there. Okay? These symbols tell us that we have lots of different answers possible. Because when we are solving equations, guys, listen real fast, give me your attention. Okay? If it said x equals 5, then what was your answer? 5, right? Equations give you one answer. X equals 5. Or x equals something, right? Inequalities are going to give you many answers. Because it might say x is less than 5. So what's less than 5?
4.
And there's a ton of possibilities, right? So inequalities open up the door. They give you lots of possibilities of answers. Equations give you only one. Okay? So golden rule of inequalities. You're going to write this down, and then we're going to have a weird way to remember it. But I promise you, you'll remember it. Golden rule of inequalities is if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip your sign. Remember how I told you more than and less than are flip words? Well, in inequalities, if you divide by a negative with more than or less than, they flip the words. Got it? So, just keep that in mind. It's a golden rule, so I'm going to put little gold stars by it. And what I want you thinking, anytime you divide by a negative, you got to have little sirens going off in your head. Like, you got to get used to hearing little sirens. So, ready? Woo, woo, woo! Okay, hear it again. Ready? Hear it again. Woo, woo, woo! So, what is that going to tell me I'm doing? I'm flipping the sign because I did what? Multiplied or divided by a negative number. Woo, woo, woo! Okay? So anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, you're thinking, woo! Yes! Okay. So here's the deal. Solving inequalities are the same steps as solving equations. We're still going to DC, M-A-D. What does that stand for?
Don't call me.
Call me after dark. We're still going to solve it the exact same way. The only thing is we have to think about the just in case. Okay? Don't forget at the divide step, if you divide by a negative, you must flip the sign. Okay? So once we solve, we're going to do this thing called check the order. So we're going to check the order we wrote our answer in. And that order needs to be variable, then the sign, then a number. Because we always want our variable on the left. So remember whenever I was telling y'all, whenever we were solving, we want to move our variables to the left. Here is why. It makes our lives easier when we're working with inequalities. Okay? So once we check the order, we're going to go to our number line and circle the answer on our number line. So we solve, check the order, circle the answer. Now, once we circle the answer, we've got to decide two things. Is it an open circle? Wow, that doesn't look like a circle. Looks like surd. Let me fix that. I apologize, guys. A circle or closed circle. Okay, is it open or closed? And then once we do that, we are going to throw some shade down on the number line. We're not mean to each other. Remember, it's the golden rule. We're nice. We treat each other like we want to be treated. But when we're talking about inequalities, we do get to throw shade. It just happens to be on the number line. Got it? Okay? So, don't call me after dark. Check the order. Circle the answer. Open or closed. And then shade the number line. So let's do some review from last year. An open circle is going to mean a sign that does not equal. It cannot be equal to that number. So what would my two inequality signs be that don't equal something? Less than, which points to the left, and greater than, which points to the right. So when I'm talking about points, I'm talking about the little pointy side. If it's pointing to the left, it's less. If it points to the right, it's great. Okay? L for L, R for great. It has an R in it, right? Okay? L for less, R for great. Got it? Now, what would a closed circle be? Yes, it's going to be the equal to signs. Okay? The ones that equal it, because we get to close in on that circle. We get to include that in our answer. So that would be less than or equal to. And then greater than, or what? Equal to. So when we close up our circle, it's because we do get to include that number. Make sense? Okay? If we keep our circle open and we don't shade it in, that means we don't want to include that number. Got it? So let's do an example. Again, we're going to solve it just like we've solved everything so far. I am just going to write, don't call me after dark. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. And I'm still going to draw my line from my sign. Okay? It's not an equal sign anymore, but it's an inequality sign. So that means I'm going to get a lot of possible answers. Okay? So, is there anything to distribute up here? No. No parentheses. On my left side, can I combine anything? What about on my right side?
No.
Nope. So, combine like terms is out. Now, is there a variable on the right side that I need to move?
Yes.
Yes. How do I move a plus x?
Minus x.
Good. Whatever I do to one side, I always do to the
Other.
Great job. So now, I'm left with 5. And what does negative 3 and negative x combine to give me? Negative
4x.
4 x's. Again, in real life, you can leave your x behind, but in algebra, it has to tag along. Okay? Now, what am I left with on the right side? 13. So I have moved my variable. Now, is there anything I need to add or subtract to get it away from my variable? Subtract 5. Good job. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the Great job. So I'm left with negative 4x is less than or equal to what? Say with confidence. What's 13 minus 5?
8.
Good. What is my last step here? Divide. What am I going to divide by?
Negative 4.
What?
Negative 4.
What?
Negative 4.
What should be going off in your head?
Woo!
You're dividing by a negative number. So your siren should be going off. Because what do I have to do with that sign? Flip it. So, wrong thing. My 4's canceled, and I'm left with x. Would you agree? Okay, but instead of less than or equal to, it flips to be greater than or equal to. And what's 8 divided by negative 4?
2.
Be careful.
Negative.
Negative 2. So, let's go back to my steps. The first step was to don't call me after dark, which is what you did. Then what? Check the order. So that means we've got to check. There has to be a variable, then a sign, then a number. Is that the way I need it to be?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so then on my number line, I need to go circle the answer. Well, there's a problem. My number line has no numbers on it. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Go put 0 in the middle. Give me a -1, whoa, I'm going the wrong way. Coach Williams is losing it. Don't copy her. See, this is why you should not copy things. Kidding. Okay, so -1, -2, -3. What goes on the other side of 0? 1, 2, 3, the positives. Now, let's go circle my answer. Where was it at? -2. I'm going to go circle the hash mark on -2. Notice I left it open right now because I have to decide, is it an open circle or a closed circle? Do I get to include my number or do I not include my number? Is it equal or is it not equal? What's my sign say?
Equal.
It's equal. So what do? Close it up. Okay, so I closed up my circle. Now the last step is to put some shade on the line. Cool thing about this though, wherever your sign is pointing, that's where you shade. So which way is this pointing? To the
Right.
So I shade to the Now make sure I can see the shade. There's got to be a difference between the left side of your line and the right side of your line. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, how do y'all feel about this? Not too hard? Let's go do just a little bit more.